got to be a burger van here. I'm starving.
I'm sure you can find a burger. All right, guys. If you don't know, you probably should, but I'm here with David Knight. Knighta is 5-time world champion, a 4-time AMA champion. He's got 2 GNCC titles, 2 Endurocross titles, 2-time Erzberg winner, 2-time last man standing winner, ISDE overall winner, and he's got a pretty British Trials Championship or something. Like, this guy's got riding background and skills like you wouldn't believe. He's got a resume this long. So, Knighta, how's it going, man?
Spot on. Good to be back in the US, especially after all that COVID deal and couldn't travel. We were literally like Alcatraz on the Isle of Man. It's like a small island, and we were stuck there. We couldn't go anywhere. And, everyone was getting cabin fever, and yeah. So it's after all that, it was like I said to Phil, who I'm racing for. I says we need to get over the US and do some races and enjoy ourselves again.
I love it.
So here we are.
We're super stoked and lucky to have you. Thank you for coming out. What brings you here? I mean, other than the COVID and all that, you wanted to just come race over to the US and do some different stuff. Yeah. What's your goals? What are you doing lately? Are you racing over there? What's going on?
Yeah, I've just been, got 3 kids and missus back at home, and yeah, just life got in the way of. I've never stopped racing. I've always done racing, and like I did the vets. You had a world championship class in 2019, enduro for like over 38-year-old class. So I did that and won that. British Enduro Championship. I haven't done that since I think 2015. I did that last year and ended up winning a couple of rounds with, you've got some world championship kids. Finished 2nd overall. Bit steady at the start of the series, but come good as it went on, and I'm enjoying racing more now than ever. There's no pressure. I can come and do what I want. And Phil, he owns Classic Car Club in New York. He's, growing up, he's been from London. Is most of his life, Irish background, and yeah, he's from just before Dakar. He was helping me, sponsoring, and he enjoys it. He's enthusiastic. He loves the sport, loves motorbikes, cars, and yeah, he said, "How do you fancy doing some US races?" And I was like, 100%.
I do fancy that.
Yeah.
So you've been racing pretty much your whole life. You've made a life career guy. I mean, how old are you nowadays, Knighta?
43. So.
Oh, you're still young. You're still in the pocket.
I don't feel that young a lot of the time.
Starting to feel a little more brittle, huh?
Yeah, but
starting to pack in and get a little shorter.
Then I look at Graham, and he's like nearly 50. So. He looks like 60, doesn't he? But sorry, Grimbo. But no, I look up to Graham a bit because he isn't young anymore. He's same age as my older brother, and he's still killing it at races.
It's unbelievable.
Before he got hurt last year, and 3 years ago I was still beating Graham in British Championship extreme races. So yeah, the big thing for this is fitness. I said to Phil, the big problem at the minute at home, the weather is so bad, or it's been so bad this winter, I've hardly ridden. So like last year, same deal. So you go to British Championship, you start riding, as the series goes on, you get way better, you get fitter, you get stronger, you get the bike dialed in, and I said, let's go and do grind and zone, because that's the first one.
Yeah.
Let's go and do that. See where I'm struggling.
Yeah, so you're coming out from not riding a lot, but I mean, you have a pretty deep history of riding, so the skills are there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, your hands are probably gonna hold up. Yeah, everything's gonna hold up. You know where your mind needs to be during the race. You're just gonna focus on the next turn.
The experience definitely in this sport, 100% counts, and like. You get guys who'll race off at the start, and you just go, just chill out a bit, relax, let the race come to you. And like when I was thinking, oh yeah, last year it was like 4 hours or something max, and I was like, that's gonna be tough. And then when I watched the video the other day, it was like, yeah, when we put the white flag out on 4 hours, it's gonna be like 5.5 and a half, and I was like, jeez,
bring your water.
But then races, even in the Dakar, I came strong at the end of the stage. Later on, you get into that rhythm, you get into just a good place. I'm like an old diesel now. Like I find as you get older, from 10 years ago, I was really good. Like in GNCC, it helped a lot. I was really good from the start. Intensity was really good, and I could sprint from the start and go. As you get older, that goes, but then you've got to work on the strong part, which is endurance. So the endurance it seems pretty good, and as the race goes on, you get through like your arm pump, and you feel, oh, it's too hot, sweating. Feel like I'm gonna freaking keel over and die.
Yeah.
And then you get your second wind, and then away you go. And so sometimes when you're older, a longer race can be a benefit.
Yeah, because your experience comes more into play.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have a lifetimes of endurance training. So although you may not have been training the last 2 months in preparation for this event, you've been training for 40 years.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be okay.
It's like in the tough one, that was in November. So Billy was obviously the big favourite there. I turned up at that. It was a race that I've won. Me and Graham have both won it 6 times over the years. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to beat Billy, and he's on a lap me. You know, the track's probably a 8, 9, 10 minute lap. And same thing, I got real bad arm pump, Billy got away. And then near the end of the race, I started getting some good laps in, and he was like 1:50 ahead at the end. So I was well chuffed with that. You know, I'd never expected that, and Billy was like, he might have slowed down a bit, he had a good lead, but even still, he's on another level at the minute.
So the old dog's still got new tricks.
Yeah, and a short race doesn't really play into my hands anymore.
Exactly.
You haven't got the time
for the experience to kick in.
Yeah.
You know, being an older guy, I mean, not that you're old, but you're kind of everybody's hero in that regard. You've been able to stay at the top of the game for a long time. How do you grow and evolve with the sport? Because, I mean, you're not the same rider today that you were 5 years ago, and you're not the same rider 5 years ago that you were 10 years before that. So
yeah, it's just, you know, like I had a metal hip. I've got a full metal hip on this side, and that took it out of me for a couple of years. You know, just you think you're gonna damage something, but then you just adapt. You know, I feel like I'm as fast as I ever was now, but you've just be a bit more careful. And you know, I've had a few injuries over the last 5 years. Like I broke my back. Like I probably did from when I started World Enduro in '98 until 2013. But when I had my hip injury in 2011, I never had one injury. You know, I did that whole time with pretty much nothing. You know, I had a few big crashes here and there, but you just like bounce and like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But
plus you hitting the ground was like a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Coming down, you know.
But like, all them years without injury, so it's gonna catch up with you eventually.
It catches up, yeah.
Like, you know, freaking hell, there's videos of me riding World Enduro, my freaking legs going under the back wheel, and you know, it's got to damage you over the years.
Right. You're stretching everything out.
I watch Billy now, and you think he's exactly the same as what I was. He's aggressive. He hits things hard, and
strong, big.
Yeah, strong, big. Exactly the same. And he's exactly where I was at that age, where you just bounce, and you know. But over when you get to like 38, something like that, I was like, it's catching up. It's catching up with me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I still love it, and probably more so now because I just learn to enjoy it. If I get beat by 10 guys, that's just life. That's how it is. If I do good, if I get a podium or top 6 or something like that, I'm like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
You know, it can still do it.
The old dog can still do it. I think that with the longer format this race, we might end up seeing that. Not to put any pressure on you or anything. I mean, I know you're just here for fun, but I'm curious to see how you do.
It'd be nice to start at 6 in the morning when it's cool.
It would. What do you think? I know you rode some of the old course, right?
Yeah.
Today, so you rode last year's course.
We've done little bits the last few days.
What are your thoughts coming off of last year's course, getting ready for the race this weekend on Saturday?
Well, me and Phil got there on, I think, Wednesday. What are we on now? Thursday. Yeah, Tuesday. We did like an hour on Tuesday evening, and we were like looking at these rocks and thinking, is that watermarks or tire tracks? And we were like, so we didn't know. We were like, I was riding stuff, and I was like, can you ride up that hill? And you ride up, and it's like, whoa, that was easy, but it looks mental.
Yeah, right.
And then there was like a couple of guys turned up that we've met, and one of them guys rode it last year, and he's been really good. He's been like telling us, oh yeah, we did this. He did the A class. He said, oh, the freaking pros rode down that, and I was like, no way on earth anyone's ridden down that. So you're fully out of your comfort zone. I'm one of them people. If someone's ridden it, I've got to do it.
Right.
Otherwise, I can't go to bed.
And
I can't sleep.
It's deceiving. The terrain is deceiving. So even if something's easy, you're still outside your comfort zone just to do it.
Yeah, and like, so he said, oh, the guys went up that last year. So I was like, I've got to try it. So I got up it twice, and then the third go, it got that sand on it.
Yep.
Brand new bike comes grinding down the thing. New acro silencer. And I'm like, anyway, I tried it again, back down it again.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, at least the bike's broken in. But then we rode along the top, and the guy said they went down there, and I was like, it's like going off the side of a cliff.
Yeah, it's steep.
Yeah.
There's some steep
so
stuff
I've done
out
that.
here.
I did it the first time.
The transitions between the sand and the grippy rock, and then the
Yeah,
not
to go up
grippy
things.
rock. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a weird.
I've ridden all over the world, Australia, the US, Brazil, Mexico, you name it, I've ridden there. I've never ridden anything like this.
Well, that's why we're so excited to have an event here, because it's super unique and it's super cool, and we got David Knight here, so that's going to make it even more fun.
And that's what, like, when I got bored with the World Enduro Championship, it was like, originally it started in like end of February, March, and you had rain events in Portugal or Spain, wet, muddy, and then you got to like Greece and it was hot and like dry like this. Like now all the races are the same. So that's how a championship should be, where you come here and the local guys could kill it. You know,
for sure.
They could absolutely drill everyone into the ground.
Exactly.
But then they go to the East Coast
and they're fish out
and
of
they're
water.
like 20th.
Exactly.
So that's how this race series for me should be. So yeah, the guys, I've been following it on social media, they're like putting the work in. It looks unbelievable.
There's a lot of it's funny because we almost have like two groups of riders. We have a young group of riders that have been training, putting the work in, obsessing over hard enduro. They're out here every weekend riding and training and getting used to the terrain. And then we got the old dogs like David Knight, who comes in and has a little bit more relaxed attitude about it, some experience, some endurance. He's not so worried about it. You can obviously adapt. So you're still going to be a hard competitor for these guys. So we almost have like two different attitudes and sets of racers.
And that's experience.
Exactly. So we got like Knighta. Unfortunately, Webb is out, obviously, but we would have had him. Haker, he's experienced at this point. Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, I'm sorry if I'm missing the experienced guys here. But on the, if Corey Graffunder shows up, he's experienced. But then on the flip side, we have Ryder LeBlond, Will Reardon, James Flynn, Cooper Abbott. We have all these young kids that are like, chomping at the bit. They want a piece of you, and you're like, hey, I'm here for the fun, boys. Let's have some beers.
You still want to have a good race, and but you've just got to let the race come to you. And if it comes to you, that's brilliant. If it doesn't come to you, over time, like Cody will be the same. Maybe not quite yet. He's not as old, but you just got to let the race come to you, and you can't push it, especially somewhere like this. You snap a lever or handlebars get bent, you're done.
It seems to be that's the more experienced thought is get the race going, get into rhythm as a primary goal. Get into rhythm, find your flow, understand the terrain, see what's going on, and then from there build on that.
Yeah, exactly. Which is hard for a young kid to do.
Yeah.
But then you get like Tristan Hart, who, he's won the championship. He's a young guy, but he's learned already.
Exactly.
He's picked it up.
He picks it up quick.
Yeah.
He finds his rhythm in a hurry.
Like he probably struggled. I don't know what he finished here last year, but this would have been a tough event for him coming from Canada,
Oh yeah.
But then he'll adapt. He'll learn.
He's very adaptable. He's a robot.
Yeah. And that's what, that's how I look at when I was a kid. I was, when I was 18, 19, 20, I just wanted to win world championship races. And, I was obsessive with it. Just, that's all I thought about. That's all I did. And that's how you've got to be, at that age. You've got to get as much info as you possibly can of him, and learn from the guys, watch them. And, we all make mistakes. I've made big mistakes at races, and then you're like, right, I'll never do that again.
Right.
And you've got to.
You have to. You got to keep your wits about you. A lot of it's about the mind. You got to keep your emotions intact. It's a hard thing.
Yeah, for sure. So
What excites you about this race? I mean, other than the unique terrain and coming over here just to race and getting out of the gloom over there. I mean, you're looking a little white though, dude. You might need some sun pretty soon here.
I'm melting here.
You're
I'm starting to burn. But yeah, just I love sand. You know,
you like sand?
And all sand's different. I've ridden in sand, you know, since where I live is next to a beach.
Yeah.
So that's where our motocross tracks are. And
you're gonna like some of the transfer sections. You can kind of hop the bushes and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, I love all that. We went when we were out there yesterday. It's like going along and then there's oh shit, there's a road and you're like bang, jump it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good, but just the unknown. It's an adventure. You know, I've flown over here. I don't take going away lightly because I've got 3 little kids at home and. You know, Mrs. She's got a job on her hands looking after them 3 when I'm away, and she's got COVID, and so is the 2 of the kids. So I was like, you know, so when I go, I want to make the most of it.
For sure.
And this is my 2nd lap. You know, I did my 1st lap when I won all my championships, and that was just like go to a race, win the race, airport, next race, and that was my mentality. I never seen anything. I never looked at. You know, I hardly went to any sightseeing things. I didn't.
Right. Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been all around the world and not seen anything. And you look
at it. It's almost a shame.
Yeah, and you look at it, and now I get, you know, a real good opportunity with Phil and them guys. So I'm going to make the most of it. Come out here.
Great.
You know, look at this sightseeing. Like in the Dakar, I was riding along, and I would stop and take photos in the stage because you're like, you know, I'll never see people where I come from. You know, Isle of Man or whatever, UK, you don't see sites like that. And like even my missus, I was FaceTime before, and she was like, "Yeah, look at
You're on Mars."
Yeah.
It seems like as time goes on, you become more and more appreciative for what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I sort of feel a bit guilty with all the travelling I did over the years. Yeah, we've seen some things, but the racing and winning the races, that was my job, and that was. That's all that motivated me, you know, to win a race and go to the next one and win championships. And you had the pressure from manufacturers that you were their #1 rider. I was there to do it, and now it's sort of for me, you know. I still want to do well because that's built into me.
Exactly.
And I'll still get pissed off if I have a bad ride or if something happens, but that's just that's human nature.
Yep.
But yeah, I just want to ride my bike, you know, like you and,
awesome.
And everyone else that's here. If you're in the B class or, you know, whatever class you're in, we're here to
have a good time,
ride your bike, enjoy it, have a decent result, but at the same time, just come back with stories and something to fill the book up with.
Exactly. That's why the pit fun is almost just as much of the experience as the actual race itself. And you're gonna have a good time here, Knighta. The course is not a lot of like super do or die stuff. It's a lot of really fun like skate parky style stuff with like cool ups, and you're gonna really like it. I'm super stoked to have you here.
Even the last like 2 days, I've adapted a lot. Like I don't like heights, so when you're on top of one of them cliffs, you're like, you know. And then today it's like I'll go along and like that's a silly drop they went down last year. I'm straight off it. And I'm like, just build confidence, you know. And a young lad would do it straight away, but as you get older, you know it can hurt. And
you kind of
you sort of build up, which is a good way.
Things become more calculated and precise.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sometimes not when the brain comes out, but yeah.
Well, listen, Knighta, it's been an absolute honor to talk to you again. We've had some good times ourselves racing in Mexico and stuff, man. That was a party. That was
a laugh, and you remember them things.
Oh, I remember it. I watched that video. You falling over that log all the time.
Disappeared down the side of the jungle.
Oh god, that was good. So, but it's
that was an event where I had the experience and I had a lead, and I was like, you know. You go over this tree on the angle, or you lay the bike down and get under it, and I was like, that'll take freaking 30 seconds to do that. I'll ride over it.
Down the hill.
Yeah, 30 minutes later, still down there. But all good fun and good stories.
All good fun, great stories.
But it's a privilege to be over here again. Like I was saying to one of the guys last week, one of my mates, my best years were at GNCC in my whole career, being in the US. It's English speaking. We had a good laugh, you know. We had a good crack. Antti, still team manager. you know, he's Finnish obviously, but he was a good guy to run the team, and we were just, Kurt Nickel was involved then. Kurt's he was a bit of a party animal, and we just had it was a good, that's how a team needs to be. We had a good connection, we all had a good laugh together, smashing rental cars up and, you know, doing all that, and that's the feeling I've got now. Like, Phil's great, he'll let me build a bike exactly how we want. Evan from Sol Performance, who used to be Mike Lafferty's mechanic, is flying out today. He's mechanicking for me. He's built my 2 bikes here. So we're just, you know, if I don't like that, we can, you know, say if I didn't like WP suspension, I could put Showa suspension in and stuff like that, which...
For sure.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and we can just have fun, and we're testing stuff, and I'm building bikes for guys at home and doing suspension, and it all works together good. And
yeah, it's
so,
fun.
Perfect.
Well, like I said, the event and the community couldn't be happier to have you here. I'm really excited to see what you think of the course and the race. We're going to do the best job we can for you guys. I'm really looking forward to following you guys around and doing some commentating.
I bet, laughing at us.
Laughing and enjoying it with you guys. So, Knighta, it's an absolute honor, my friend. Thank you for sitting down with me for a minute. I'm super grateful to have you here, and good luck tomorrow. I'm cheering for you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.